Welcome, dear students. So, today we are going to discuss another topic from the sixth module in Municipal Solid Waste Management. So, in this module, mainly it deals with the composting process. We have already discussed what is composting process as well as the indoor method and the Bangalore methods of composting. So, today we will be discussing the various stages or the basic stages involved in all composting practices as well as the advantages and disadvantages of composting. So, here you can see there are five basic stages involved in all composting practices, namely preparation, digestion, curing, screening or finishing, and storage or disposal. So, among the various composting processes, we must note that the differences may occur in the method of digestion or in the amount of preparation and the finishing required. So, in choosing the type of process which is to be used and the amount of sophistication that is required, a number of criteria must be considered. So, we will see each of these. So, preparation. This phase, that is a preparation phase of composting, involves several steps, and all these depend upon the sophistication of the plant and the amount of resource recovery which is being practiced. A typical preparation process includes activities like sorting of the recyclable materials from the waste, then the removal of the non-combustibles. So we know that for composting we use the we use the organic materials. So even before you go for composting, we have to prepare the material which is to be composted. So this is what this is what we do in this stage. So it includes activities like shredding, pulping, grinding, adding of water, sludge, etc. And we know that we use various equipments for all these processes. So after the solid waste leave the receiving area, the bulky items which could damage the grinders which is used for grinding the waste will be removed by hand, and the separation of other non-compostable recyclable materials. So the non-compostable recyclable materials in waste, like for example like glass, rag, plastic, rubber, paper, etc., which should be separated. These are to be separated from the waste, and these non-compostables are not salvaged, which are not salvaged must be ultimately, usually what we do is the non-compostable ones are disposed of in the sanitary landfill. So we have discussed the landfilling method earlier. So after initial separation, most of the composting processes require that the solid waste material has to be reduced in particle size so as to facilitate the handling, the digestion, the mixing of the product, etc., so that we will get a homogeneous compost. And since the refuse characteristics also vary from one load to the next, so this is a continuous process where the waste we keep loading the waste, and also the characteristics of the waste vary from one load to the next. So a final step in the preparation phase of composting is to adjust the moisture as well as the nitrogen content of the solid waste. So that is to be the waste that is to be composted. The optimum moisture content, the range of optimum moisture content is between 45 to 55% of the wet weight, and the optimum carbon to nitrogen ratio should be below 30%. So the moisture and the nutrient adjustments are usually accomplished more efficiently by adding raw wastewater sludge into the material. So this also increases the volume of the composted material by about 6 to 10%, and it accelerates the composting operation and also produces a better end product in terms of the nutrient contents. We know that the compost that is obtained finally is very rich in nutrients. So by adding all this, we can improve the final end product in terms of the nutrient contents. Now the next stage is the digestion process. So digestion techniques are actually a unique feature of the composting process, and it varies from the backyard. We have various types of composting. It can be done in the backyard or maybe in a highly controlled manner. This process of digestion varies from the type, varies in different types of composting processes, and composting system falls mainly under two categories, that is a windrow composting in open windrows, as well as mechanical composting, which is actually done in a enclosed digestion chamber. So in the we'll be discussing the windrow composting later on. So next is the curing process. So this is the next stage which is involved in the basic stages, that is the third stage is the curing. So the organic materials that remain after the first phase of composting, these decompose slowly in spite of the ideal environmental conditions. And the second phase, which is usually carried out in windrows, it takes from a few weeks to 6 months. We know that the whole composting process takes a number of days, from a few weeks to even a couple of months. So it depends on the outdoor temperatures also, and also the intensity of the management, and also the market specification for maturity. So with some system configurations, a screening step may precede the curing operation. So as we discussed here, you can see this is the order, like preparation, digestion, curing, screening or finishing, and storage or disposal. Whereas in some methods, what they do is the screening is done before curing also. So in some method of composting, this is also adopted, wherein the screening method is done prior to the curing process. So during the curing process, the compost becomes biologically stable, with the microbial activity occurring at very slow rate than that during the actual composting. And the curing piles may be aerated either by force, or it may be passively aerated with occasional turning of the pile. And next process is the screening or finishing. So the compost is usually screened or finished mainly to meet the market specifications. So sometimes this processing is done, as I told you, it's done even before the process of curing, and one or two screening steps and additional grindings are used in order to prepare the compost for the markets. So during the composting operation, the compostable fraction, that is the materials which can be composted, they are separated from the non-compostable fractions, and this is done by using the screens, and this undergoes a significant reduction in the size as well. And the non-compostable fraction that are retained on the coarse screen will be sent to the landfill, while the compostable materials that are retained on the finer screens will be returned to the beginning of the composting process. So this is again to allow further composting. And the screened compost may contain inert particles like glass or plastic, which may have passed through the screen. And also the amount of such inert materials mainly depends on the feedstock processing, which is done before composting. And also we can see that to successfully remove the foreign matter, and in order to recover maximum compost by screening, the moisture content should be below 50%. Also drying should be allowed only after the compost has been sufficiently cured. So if screening takes place before curing is complete, then moisture addition may be necessary so as to cure the compost. And here again, the screen size that is used is determined by the market specification of the particle. So you can see screening process, and the final one is the storage or the disposal. So this is a final analysis, a final step. So in the final analysis, regardless of the efficiency of the composting process, that is the success or failure of the operation mainly depends upon the disposal. So even when a good market for compost exists, we see that provision has to be still made for storage. We have to store it because, and this is mainly needed because the use of compost or the composting material is seasonal. So we don't need this in all seasons. So it is mainly used, or it is in great demand during the spring season and the winter season. So therefore a composting plant must have a 6-month storage area. So this is what is ideal. It has to have a 6-month storage area, and many composting operations actually combine their curing period with the storage period. And the price at which the compost can be sold actually depends on the benefit to be obtained from its use and the customers who are willing to make use of such benefit. So either the compost may be sold in bulk, finished or unfinished, or it may also be fortified with chemical fertilizers, which will be more efficient, or it will be more effective as a soil fertilizer. So these are the various stages. So now we'll come to the advantages and disadvantages of composting process. So next we'll discuss what are the advantages of composting. So composting has lots of benefits, and it enriches the soil and also adds nutrients to the soil. And we know that the end product of composting is actually humus, which is nutrient rich soil. Also, composting introduces valuable organisms to the soil, microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, etc., and also decomposes the organic material that is present within the solid waste. It is used for recycling the kitchen and the yard waste. And one major advantage is that it reduces the landfill waste. The amount of waste that goes to the landfill can be considerably reduced by this process of composting, because all the organic materials may be composted. And also this process is very good for the environment. And here you can see it forms a source of reduction or deduction of the waste prevention. It enhances the nutrient value of the soil, also reduces the waste stream volume, and also it is very cheap compared to any other means of waste disposal. And it is very much suitable for a wide variety of the end uses like landscaping, topsoil bending, etc. And one more advantage is that it increases the water content and retention in the sandy soils, and in the case of clay soils it increases the aeration and the water infiltration. So these are the advantages of composting process. Now the disadvantages of composting. So perhaps the most apparent disadvantage of composting is actually the amount of effort that is involved in this whole process. And composting is especially a very laborious process when we consider the quantity required in order to fertilize a sizable land. And also the other disadvantages like the windrow and the aerated static pile composting actually requires larger areas. And one more problem is the odor control, and odor control is a very common problem in the composting process. And again, as listed here, there is limited flexibility in handling this whole process. And also the ambient temperature and the weather conditions actually influences the composting process. It has a role to play. So the temperature as well as the weather conditions affect the whole process of composting. Also, it is very much time consuming, as we already discussed. It takes around a few weeks to a couple of months for the whole process to be completed. And also like in some methods of composting we require more area, and also the nutrient value that is obtained is very much less or low compared to the actual commercial fertilizers. And another major disadvantage is that there is a possible heavy metal contamination in this process. So these are the disadvantages of composting.